Have you heard that one about the guy who did a video shoot in the Keys and the Air Force showed up? No? Well, in this podcast, you'll hear that story as well as the rum bottle that's shaped like a can. Also, he drops an exclusive about the next bottle design he's working on. Now let's go run the guns with Captain Jim.
So, hey, good evening, Jim. Or I guess, do you go by Captain Jim, Captain James?
No, whatever's easier for everybody.
Okay.
Jim, James, Captain James is, a character that we brought to life by virtue of the adventures of rum, and so yeah, James is fine.
Okay, so this is going to go lead right into the first question I've got to ask you.
Sure.
So you've traveled to Africa, kayaked with whales, been to Antarctica. So are you the most interesting man in the world?
I think so. I'm getting up there, right?
Oh, for sure. I checked out, the website and yeah, let's first go ahead and introduce. So, well, thank you for coming on the podcast, Jim, or Captain Jim. Yeah, let's talk about your rum company that you've started. I think it's a really interesting, as we've talked before the show, and just I think it's a great story you have, the passion you got, some of the things that you really kicked in the gear, which I think I love the stories from guests on that, what has sparked them into, whether it's rum business or maybe it's somebody, a musician who's a drummer. But yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself and your rum company.
Yeah, so first of all, I appreciate it, Paul. I know we've been going back and forth trying to set up a time for the podcast. I'm very excited to be on your podcast. You're doing a great job, and thank you very much for having me here. So to answer your question, yeah, I started out, we're in South Florida. I started out as a surfer, wanting to maybe go to school, wanting to make money more than I wanted to go to school. And so I started out as a young entrepreneur, and I had a passion for surfing and skiing. And so my first venture was, I created a surf travel company in the late 80s. And a couple of guys we formed a surf travel business, and we pioneered places like Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, back to 88, 89, 90. And we had crews and trucks and tents and camps. And, we had a great time in the late 80s and early 90s. And so that just got me into the adventurous spirit and the travel. And I really had an amazing time, surfing and chilling in Central America. And then I wanted to see more. I wanted to see what else was out there. And how rum comes into the equation is, back in the 80s and 90s, we would always break open a bottle of Flor de Caña or a bottle of, the Costa Rican rum, Ron Centenario. And so every adventure that I had always had rum. I always had rum with me, And so rum and I have been, I would say, best friends, for a long time. And
you and Ron.
Yeah, exactly. And so I started, wanting to do other adventures over the years. I'm a photographer, and an underwater photographer, a nature photographer, and so I took that photography to the next level and ventured into, traveling to Africa and traveling to places like Antarctica and all of South America and some really remote, amazing places. And I always had a bottle of rum and a surfboard. Well, here I am, 58. I still have the bottle of rum and maybe not so much the surfboard, but my son has it. So it's been an amazing adventure. In April of let's say March, prior to COVID, My father passed away at 101 years old, and my dad and I would always share rums. We would always try different blends, and we would talk about what was happening in our life and the good, the bad, the ugly, you know. And so my father and I shared rums. And so when he passed away, I wanted to take what has been a big part of my life and turn it into a brand. And so my dad was a Navy guy, and he was, you know, him and I would talk about, you know, nature and history, and we were, you know, boat lovers and history buffs. And so I wanted to create a brand that had some history in it, you know, had some stories that I could maybe bring some adventures to life, create something unique, sort of bust out and do something different. And so I literally drew a cannon on a napkin, and I searched the world for somebody that could create a glass-shaped cannon that wasn't like a, you know, something that was out of an amusement park or something that was novelty. I wanted to do something that was bold. So that was my first challenge, right? And so I created, it's really probably a 6-pounder cannon, Spanish. And it turned out to be an amazing product. This is hand-blown glass from Czech Republic. It's heavy. It's got a good grip for the well. And everybody that sees this and holds it absolutely loves the bottle. And some people even told me that, Jim, we don't even want to throw the bottle away. We leave it on our desk empty.
Oh, listen, if you've got people that got empty bottles and don't know what to do with it, yeah, definitely let me know, because we could definitely repurpose, because you're right. That is
I have several.
That's a sexy, damn good looking bottle. I think you just set up a booth at the Renfest down in Broward there, and all the Pirate Fest, and do a little bit of something, I'm sure. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt your the bottle you know.
No, so you know, back to what I was saying, it was, you know, I wanted to create something that was bold, something that was Navy. And, you know, let's face it, I mean, what is rum without a cannon? Okay. If you look at the history of rum, there's always a cannon in the picture.
Right. Yep.
You know, there's pirates and boats, but this is what conquered the world, as a cannon, right? And so what's also amazing is each one of my bottles has a story. For example, the Culverin and the Falconet, and we have the Drake. Those are all names of actual cannons, all the way dating back to the medieval days, right?
Okay.
And there's so many stories and so many vessels and galleons that have fought over the ages. And that's another message as to what the brand is about. It's about victory in life, victory over the ages at sea, victory in battle. And so we wanted to bring different victorious battles and famous galleons and famous admirals and buccaneers. And soon we're going to have a pirate spice blend as well. We're going to talk about some characters in the pirate kingdom.
Okay.
As part of the brand. And so the cannon gives us a way to really take a juice or the liquid and turn it into a story, and try to match the bottle with the story and the blend, and really becomes an interesting conversation point and a great product at the same time. Somebody, you know, something that you can have on your shelf and bring up conversation. And that's how the brand is going to continue to grow. We've got the Culverin and the Falconet. We have also the new, which I was showing to you earlier, Paul, what we call limited edition releases, which are rums that are 10 years plus. In this particular case, this is an 18-year Barbados rum, single origin, 43%. I'm going to say it's probably at 96 points. We're waiting for BTI to give us a report on the tastings, but so far the results are showing a fantastic score, and most likely a platinum medal for what we call the limited edition releases, ship of the line. In this particular case, the Formidable is named after Admiral Rodney's ship that was famous for breaking the line in the 1700s. So we celebrate that whole moment in naval combat history. And so the goal was, you have a regular line of rums, but once or twice a year, we're going to bring really an interesting story. We're going to put it in a bottle, and we're going to, send it out to some real true rum connoisseurs and keep the stories and the brand new and exciting, right?
Right.
Sometimes brands fail to do that. They put out one or two SKUs and then they just sit with that. And so we wanted to create a unique bottle, come out with different stories, really pump a lot of innovation into rum, and certainly match the spirit and match the liquid to go with the innovation of the presentation. And all of our rums are blends. The Falconet has a 92-point gold medal at BTI. The Culverin had 89 silver medal. Most important, though, what I love is the Falconet got best daiquiri in the world in the championship here in May. Out of 59 rums, they gave us a platinum first place for the best daiquiri.
All right, congrats.
So that was very exciting, and certainly we have had the opportunity to have some restaurants and bars feature that champion cocktail on their menu, and so far everybody loves the Falcon Daiquiri, we call it. And other than that, we've got some unique gift items which I can get into later, but most important is the quality of the rum. We really work hard at developing blends. We have sometimes 3 origins, sometimes 4 origins. We're at 43% ABV across the board. But most important about the blends and what we do different, and the reason we've been able to win some medals and receive great ratings, Paul, is we blend our rums, and we basically don't compromise the rums. In other words, they're uncompromised, meaning we don't add extra sugar, we don't add extra colors, extra caramels. We also remove the cold filtration process from the rum preparation and from the blend preparation. That just takes some of the spirit out of the rum, if you don't mind me saying. Not that anybody has had time with tasting rums that are cold filters and rums that are not. You probably don't know the difference, but when you get into the science of it all, we wanted to create a rum or a blend of rums that were true and pure, and most important, give honest age statements. We don't really run around with the Solera system, which is a unique system of blending rums. Ours is a blend, it's not a Solera. Blends seem to be a little bit more higher quality. And so we ended up saying, okay, let's make our rums uncompromised. Let's take out all the unnecessary sugars and caramels and colors, and let's be bold. Let's be as bold as the bottle. And, in designing this with the distillers, they even said, Jim, this is a bold move. Are you sure you want to do this? And I said, well, listen, we have to be bold. The bottle's bold. We're going to go all the way on this.
You're all in, right?
All in. We want it to be different. And so when you taste our rum and you put it side by side by some of the other rums, and let's face it, there's great rums on the market. We all know what's out there is great, but we all have our choices. I think you can see the difference and you can taste the difference. I don't really want to say cast of glass because another company's been using that, but you could say this is pure and it's right from the cask, and it's real rum, man. So that's the story. I don't know if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. And that's it in a nutshell,
All right. And that's the end of the podcast. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Right.
No, I appreciate the very, detailed rundown, because again, just in the short time, just, exchanging text messages and chat with you over the phone. And again, I guess credit to, I would assume I believe it was probably a Facebook ad is
Right.
how I stumbled across. Again, Jim, I don't even think we got a chance. Did we even say the name of the rum company?
Oh. Yeah, it's right here. Bombarda Rum Company.
There you go.
BombardaRum.com. Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
even say that. It's Paul's Rum Company.
There you go. So everyone's listening to the
That's a good one.
podcast to say, "Wow, I waited 5 minutes to hear what rum is this he talking about?" So
Start over, dude.
yeah, there you go. And no, it's all good. So yeah, it's so when I went through, saw it, I said, okay, this is interesting. Clicked on it, learn more. For obviously right here in our backyard in South Florida, fellas, I'm up here in Palm Beach, and I said, this is interesting. And like you said, you've got to set yourself apart, not
Right.
only just in the presentation, but as well in the product that goes in the bottle. And
Exactly.
you can have a great product in the very plain bottle. And again, it's all about marketing. And like you said, there's lots of rums out there that have marketing, huge marketing, and it's, but yes, that's how we can Bombarda. So Bombarda. There you go.
Yeah, Bombarda. Like during your day, don't you get bombarded? It's
Yes.
Bombarda.
I
Well,
probably need.
you have to see the I don't have this it's a battle scene on the website where it's two galleons
Yes.
firing at each other, hence the word bombard. And of course, bombard was also a weapon. And so we wanted to come up with a name that was representative of the brand. And so cannons do exactly that. They
Right.
create bombard. So that's how we came up with the name Bombarda.
All right.
Once
So
we
we're,
put out.
so
Yeah.
Jim, we're gonna jump right back to you. You said cannon. Okay. We've talked about the bottle. We've talked about some of the story that ties the bottles, the products, the product lines, the cannon, and then another thing that you have that goes with some of the bottles that you do offer. So
Oh yeah, that's the coup de grace.
yes,
That is the we were talking about some of the gift items. I showed them to Paul for the first time, and listen, everybody loves this, for a man cave, for bar tops, restaurants and bars, liquor stores, they all want them. And so, with some of our retail partners, we allow these guys to use it point of sale. And so, when you have a cannon bottle, you have to have a carriage that it goes in. So this is a handmade carriage that the bottle goes in. And we even have a way of securing it with a chain. Everything's handmade. It has that charred battle look. And it's made very well by a couple of Texan Marine veterans. These guys are in the cannon manufacturing business. They're a arms manufacturer. And so I found this guy through another friend, and he saw the bottle and he's like, we had to go through a couple of tests, but these carriages, here's the carriage without the bottle, are just absolutely as epic as the bottle. And on a shelf, sometimes I'll put 4 of them lined up together and people just stop and look. I've even brought these to restaurants and I'm talking to friends or, clients, and people stop in their track and they actually surround the table as to how, like, what is this, and so we have a black bottle. This is that formidable high-end bottle, but this bottle on a black carriage
oh yeah,
is, well, sorry about the label here, is just a, pretty close to a work of art. It's, you have to see it in person, but yeah, so we've created those. We have a small little replica iron cannon keychain that these guys made that actually fire, that we give away. We didn't put the hole all the way through. We didn't bore it all the way through the chamber, else you could fire these little things. They're about that big. I have them laying around here. I'll show them to you. But yeah, so we wanted to really kind of, once again, I wanted to keep going. I wanted to just continue the innovation. And we've got now what we're calling walk the plank, which is a 2-shot wood deck of a boat. and we're going to start marketing the Walk the Plank Bombarda double shot, for restaurants and bars, and throw that on the menu. So we're pretty excited about that.
Very cool.
And yeah, so that's what we're doing on the accessory line. We support our retail partners and our members and our buyers, our clients. We've sold about 50 of these carriages via Facebook and Instagram and through some of our retail partners. But to give you an idea, Paul, of our growth, our first buyer was a national chain that bought 21,000 bottles.
Oh,
That was my first order. 21,000 cannons.
right out the door.
Right out the door.
Wow.
Without the product even being here. And we're going to roll it out in October. And we have a local rep here in Miami. He already has us in 50 liquor stores in less than 3 months.
Wow.
We're in 70 locations in less than 3 months. So I think that innovation is paying off. The stores and the restaurants are reordering second and third, times. So it's the presentation, it's the passion that I have for that continued innovation, making the good spirit, what we call juice, making the good juice, and just building a great brand. And we're having fun doing it. And I love every step of the way. It's an adventure, it's a journey. And I just want to get out there and deliver a really good product and a good rum that we can all enjoy, and that's it, so.
Excuse me. I think the whole presentation, like I said there, Jim, obviously, like you said, sharing the passion and the rum with your father, and you just didn't just jump into say, hey, I want to do rum, go start a company, and then half-assed it. You've really thought through. And we were talking a little bit there before the show, was the different parts of the supply chain that goes into the bottle, the whole package, right? You said the bottles made over, in, I think you said Czech Republic. So it's, again, you're being very meticulous and not just running it into this. You're being very, methodical, I guess, is just not slap on any old thing into the what you're trying, which is the right way to do it.
Yeah, we didn't want to, we're not, some guys, some companies rush into a label, rush into a bottle, they put the juice out there and they expect to sell it. And so I put my heart and soul into every step of the process. It took me a year to make the first 2 blends. At the same time, I had these guys in Texas pounding away first version, second version, third version, fourth version, fifth version of the carriages. We had a team in Czech Republic making the bottles. The closures are also custom. Those are handmade in Italy. And all the rums are from the West Indies, places like Guyana, Dominican Republic, Panama, Trinidad, Barbados, Venezuela, Guatemala. And so we trek those rums that are all tropically aged, by the way. We all in ex-bourbon casks. We love ex-bourbon casks. We have an ex-Armagnac cask, 22-year Guyana coming out, which is mind-blowing. And so we had pretty much assembled a team around the world to put this product together. And man, it just came together. It just fell into place with great enthusiasm and great commitment. And and so it's been a hell of a journey. We continue to push every day. We continue to be innovative with the presentation, and I would say by the middle of 2022, I think I don't know if you want me to share it with the audience, what I call the coup de grace bottle. I don't think anybody's pulled this off before, but
all right, guys, you're getting ready to get a sneak peek here.
Yeah. Maybe I should hold off, right?
Well, hey, it'll be great if, well, again, for me, I can say I got the drop on, big news.
Yeah, I think with your podcast, Paul, we're gonna give everybody a first peek. So, when you talk about cannons and you talk about galleons and you talk about treasures, you think about the Florida Keys. We didn't even get into the story about the filming that we did in the Florida Keys.
Oh, no, it's on my show notes. We're getting there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, we gotta tell everybody about that, right? That was crazy fun. So, being a diver and a surfer my whole life, I said, okay, well, listen, you're gonna see these cannons that have been sitting on the ocean floor for 100, 200 years, and you've seen videos and you've seen treasure salvage, and we all dream about finding gold coins on the bottom of the ocean, right? Who doesn't?
Right.
So I had a company in Poland. This took a year for us to create, and this is a sample of a patina oxidized glass bottle. It does not look glass, as Paul was saying, it looks metal. And you would never know it's glass. And so we're going to take the cannon bottle and we're going to oxidize metallic the bottle, and we're going to dedicate it towards the hurricane fleet that sank in the Keys in 1733 and come out with stories and possibly away some coins and so forth. So
are you going to also put like a patina look on the cannon and cradle?
Yeah, we're going to do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be more of a brownish, blackish oxidized. We're going to have it more beat up, so that it looks like it's sat on the ocean floor for a while. I got a lady that says she can add, barnacles to it. I don't know if I'm going to go to that extreme, but it's worth a shot.
No, that is very cool to do. Again, that's that extra little mile to go to put in the presentation where it's an eye catcher. It's not just a clear bottle sitting on the shelf at a store. It's definitely going to catch, attention to say, oh, what is that? And then to kind of look at a little bit more. So I'm excited.
That's a year to create that.
Wow.
Year. Yeah. 10 tries minimum.
So if I buy a whole bunch and drink it all and then go sink some out off a reef somewhere, somebody's going to think they really found old wreckage.
Exactly. We're going to put a couple at the bottom of the ocean and maybe run a contest and have people try to find some sunken rum bottles, who knows, but they'll fit in.
Yeah. Or maybe a contest where it's like, when you desert it on an island, you put a little note in a bottle and you throw it out there, and maybe that's what it is, right?
We're going to do something. We're thinking about giving a coin from one of the galleons. The Capitana, there was a galleon off of that sank in 1654 off of Ecuador. Interesting story. This was the largest galleon that sank, and with immense amount of gold. And it took 3 salvage ships. Each of the 3 salvage ships sank, trying to recover the coins and the gold. So
wow,
it's a very interesting story, and we want to maybe add that to the product line with this bottle, either that or the sunken fleet of 1733. We're reading, we're researching. We want to make the best presentation for the liquid, and
right.
And so when you get into some of these lost galleons over the ages, there's a massive amount of ships that have sank, and a massive amount of lives that have been lost. And it's crazy when you dive deep into the history of moving treasure from the Caribbean to the old world,
right,
over a 200 period. The amount of effort and money and loss and just struggle that these guys had in the 1700s are amazing.
A fellow rummer and a former guest, or I guess alumni now, is into heads done diving and salvaging, and he was mentioning there's still a lot out there, and especially in the Treasure Coast, I guess, area where
that's the 1715 fleet, I think, is the one that sank off of Hero Beach. And yeah, so there's the Galleon Trail is in the Keys, and that's the El Ruby Capitana was the lead ship, and it's called the Galleon Trail, and you can actually dive. They give you the coordinates, and there's about 10 wrecks that you can free dive and go look for yourself.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't even know about it, but it's called the Galleon Trail in the Keys. It goes all the way from Key Largo to Key West, so it's pretty cool.
All right, I gotta get my scuba license.
So you want to talk about that Florida Keys
This
accidental film shoot we did?
Of course, this is a perfect segue talking about scuba
I
and
think
the
that's
Keys.
why you called me. You said, "Man, I love the barrels in the ocean and on the beach." And I think that's probably one of the pictures you saw on Facebook with the barrels and the sword, and it was in the Keys, right? That's probably how you found us.
Yeah. I think, Jim, I get a sense that you're a guy, you're like a shoot first guy, and we'll worry about everything later. So like this story, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So tell us about this promo shoot story that started out very innocent. Hey, we're doing promotional for Bombarda in the Keys, and go.
Yeah, so a couple buddies of mine, when we were getting we were first launching in May, right? We got the bottles. I'm like, man, let's go down to the Keys. Let's do a photo shoot. Let's get on the beach. Let's get by the Fort Zachary Taylor. Let's go to Dry Tortugas.
Any reason to go to the Keys, right?
Yeah, right. I'm fantasizing of shooting these cannons in the forts, Fort Zachary Taylor, the one in St. Augustine, Dry Tortugas. So I'm calling in Miami looking for barrels, right? How do you find empty rum or whiskey barrels in Miami? Good luck. Okay. But I found them. I found 10 barrels. I put it on a U-Haul. I went down with 3 friends. I have a place down there in the Southern Keys. And so we get there, and my buddy George, he's a photographer and a videographer by trade. And so we were just having fun with this. I was like, yeah, I'll treat you to dinner and lunch and all the rum you can drink, and help me out with this. Let's do a trial run. So we got the 10 barrels, we got the bottles, we got the film equipment. I'm like, man, how are we gonna get this? How are we gonna get this out to a beach out in Snipe and Marvin Key and some of the little islands off the lower Keys? How are we gonna get the rum barrels out there? I'm like, oh man, how are we gonna do that? I'm looking at my boat, barely holds 3 rum barrels, So we find this old boat. It's a barge, and it's like a tourist boat, and backcountry tours. If you want to check them out, they're down in Cujo Key, and it's this giant. What do they call those boats that have the what?
Like a barge,
a barge,
pontoon boom.
Yeah, pontoon boom.
Yeah.
Picture a pontoon with 2 decks, and there's 2 slides from a swimming pool on the back of them. It's pretty dorky looking, right? But it's a great boat. And we put all 10 barrels. We went out to Marvin Key, Snipe Point. You guys can look it up. It's off of Cujo Key and Sugarloaf in the lower Keys at about 8:30 in the morning on a Monday, and it's overcast. So we're thinking nobody's going to be on the beach. Nobody's going to be out in the middle of nowhere out there, right? We get there, lo and behold, there's 8 people on the beach at like 9 in the morning drinking. We're like, okay, only in the Keys.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So we throw the barrels off. Everybody's looking like, what's going on? And we start, shooting videos and photos of the barrels on the beach with the swords and the cannons and the bottles. And, of course, everybody was like, hey, what are you guys doing? And we gave them some samples of the rum, and they loved it. And we gave them more samples, and we're all having a good time. Maybe 10, 12, 15 of us just, maybe the filming will work. Maybe the photos will work, but we're having a good time. And so lo and behold, Army helicopters start circling overhead, to the point where they were lowering to almost where they could just drop ladders and land on the beach. I mean, they were literally 50 feet over our head, and are screaming at us, what are you guys doing? Because they think we're running, what? We got empty barrels. And so we had to show them our videographer machines, and we had to yell, we're doing a photo shoot. We're doing a photo shoot. F-14 circling us. 3 helicopters going around us. We got it all on film. And we ended up, putting some great slides out there. And one of the girls on the beach knew a guy that owned a bar in Key West, and he actually owned 5 bars. And she called him, he called me. He's like, dude, I got to meet you, man. You're out there shooting rum barrels in the Keys with the military overhead. I got to meet you, And the guy bought 10 cases and put all the rum in his 4 or 5 bars.
Oh, wow.
Just by virtue of just, doing something fun. And so that's what I mean about just getting out there and, having fun. And that's what makes rum so amazing and such a great spirit, is that it really brings out the best in everybody. And it's given me an opportunity to really be creative and innovative and get out there with friends and family and meet new people. And I just can't think of a better spirit to really work with. And that's what I love about rum, is just the adventure and the fun that is associated with the spirit and the history,
Right. I don't think anybody can associate the word fun with any other spirit. Well, maybe tequila, but then again, but there's always regret after.
About fun that you forgot, right?
Yeah. And it's always like, I don't want to drink any more tequila after that. And then again, at least with rum, you never hear anybody saying that they never will drink rum again or get sick from it.
That's true.
So this story, that's pretty crazy. Is
fun story. I have a lot of them, by the way.
So maybe we'll have save some for the next. Have you back on. Or depends on how much head time if we got left. The story about I'm trying to remember where it was. I just lost my thought there about so you sold 20 cases just off of that one encounter.
Yeah, so it was 10 cases.
10
right?
cases. Okay.
5 cases of each. We had two SKUs that we came out with, the Falconet and the Culver, and we just introduced the that limited edition Formidable. We've got like 2 or 3 more coming out of it in the next year. My goal is to be an 8 SKU brand. Plantation, they have 24, 30.
Mm-hmm.
They have their regular SKUs and they have limited edition, extreme, and so I would say that our brand by design is similar to Plantation.
Okay.
What makes us different from all the other brands that I know of is we don't add any extra sugars, caramels, colorants. We don't cold filter the product. It's pure cast to glass. You'll taste the difference. And everybody that tries this gives us the same message. Wow, this is great. It's smooth. It doesn't have this, with what's nice about in cocktails, most of your rum drinks, Paul, as you know, are sweet by nature. They're full of juices. And so with that less sugar, when you add rum with sugar in it to that already sweet cocktail recipe, some people can't drink it. It's too much. It's too much sugar. And so I think our rums really complement a rum cocktail by having less sugar. And that way you get a better taste of the actual alcohol, the rum itself, and you get to really taste the fruit of that cocktail. And that actually a bartender pointed that out to me. She's like, Jim, your rum is different in that it doesn't have that strong aftertaste sweetness. It's perfect.
It's very smooth.
It's smooth, yeah. And even if you drink it neat, it's smooth. In the cocktails, it's smooth. We've got the Falcon Daiquiri, we got the Culver Killer, we got the Arrogantly Old Fashioned. We got some great names. Devil to Pay. We got a great cocktail recipe menu. We're working on those all the time. I got a group of mixologists. We're doing crazy things. We got the Melon Bomb. We got a great line. But yeah, so back to what you were saying. That encounter, just getting out there on the islands of the Lower Keys, gave us that account. And it's interesting that, even sitting at a table talking about the brand, bringing it to show friends or colleagues or other buyers, that I've actually met people that want to buy the product just sitting there.
Sight unseen.
Sight on, yeah, like,
Yeah.
where do I get this? I'm like, well, you can get it here and there. And so I'm all I can say is I've worked very hard, and I'm so very excited to bring this brand to the rum market. It's new, not a lot of people know about it,
Right.
but it's a force to be reckoned with as we grow. We're growing slowly. We really support the brand by doing tastings in all of our retail liquor stores in Miami. We're mainly in Miami, Tampa, and St. Pete right now. Sarasota a little bit.
Okay.
Once again, 3 months in the launch, since the launch. So
we do have a fellow who's also a alumni to the show, and we could talk offline if you wanted to get. He does rum reviews, and he's just right there in Broward County. And so if that's something, I can connect you if you want to. You guys get his opinion, and he does. I'll send pass along his information there. But So what are you gonna do to top that? I guess to do all that craziness and land that kind of sale. I guess you're gonna have to really step your game up now, right?
Yeah, we're going out on a sunny day, and we're going to give free rum out to everybody on the islands. That's all I can do to beat that. I think that'll do it, with a bunch of flags on the boat that say Bombarda Rum, Victory Spolia, which is our tagline, which is to the victor come the spoils. So
yeah, you tell me where. You tell me where, and I'll show up.
I may get arrested for that. I got lucky the first time. So
it's like, yeah, you're 21, right? Okay, that's good enough. Yeah.
Exactly.
So let me jump back here, Jim. You talked about a little bit ago about the story about how you got to where you're at with the company, and the idea, the passion, and serving it. Again, you're talking there about your father, Papa George, right? That's what he went by. Yeah. And apparently, I can tell, reading in the website, I think it was the founder or owner's founder story. I think
Founder's message. Yeah.
Founder's message.
That's the story. Yeah.
And that obviously you guys have a very special bond. And as you mentioned about talking about, nature and so forth. I guess how did he get into rum, or was it through you, or?
No, I got into rum through him, believe it or not.
Okay.
He would always, he was like an old fashioned drink. He would drink Manhattan highball, and he'd always have his old fashioned. And so 16, 17 years old, I'm like, Dad, you let me try this or what? I would drink this thing every night almost, and back then the horse track, the dog races, that was the crew, right? That generation. My dad passed away at 101 years old 2 years ago. So he was in that old school World War II generation, and they sat at the Veterans Club and the Italian American Club, and all he did was play cards and drink. And so he was a rum lover, and so I would always see him with different bottles, and he had his favorites. And so at 16, 17 years old, he let me try it, and I liked it. And I was a big rum and Coke fan, and I had other rum drinks that I liked over the years. And living by the beach, being a surfer, once again, surfers and rum go together. Navy guys and military guys and rum usually go together. Well, there's some whiskey in there too. So he introduced me to rum, and literally for 40 years, every holiday, I have 3 children, and every birthday and every celebration and every, oh my God, Dad, what am I going to do? I got problems, and we would always have rum, right? Good times and bad times. And so when my dad passed away, I'm like, I have nobody to really share rums with, I haven't, and it was like, I missed it, after he was gone. I missed, even when he was 100, I would sneak shots of rum to his nursing home, and he lived with his 99-year-old brother. So
Wow.
Uncle Dominic and my dad were in a nursing home, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I would sneak them little shots, and they were still drinking at 101 years old. True story, you know.
That's like a lot of people from that generation is swear by that. Is
Yeah.
That's a
And
key.
my cousin, he's like, he goes, I don't know, Dominic's slipping. He's got that, the Alzheimer. I'm like, Dominic, you remember me? He's like, yeah, what's your name? He's 99. They go through that, I'm like, it's Jim. And he's like, yeah, hey, how you doing? You're George's son, huh? I mean, every time. So one time I gave him a shot of rum. And the next time he's like, hey, Jim, how are you? He knew my name right away. My cousin Travis and we were like, oh my God, I can't believe he remembers my name now because of a glass of rum.
Well, you know what? I think maybe you need to get out of or start a whole new business here. Maybe you found like the cure for.
Hey, I'm throwing in these little situations. I hope I don't get in trouble,
Hey, whatever you feel you want to share.
I think, I'm just going out there and having a good time, and whatever happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it's not going to hurt anything, or kind of, as to say, as a saying, whatever your career can handle.
Yeah, that's true.
Or some people say, if you're married, whatever your marriage can handle.
Whatever your marriage can handle, whatever floats your boat is another one. Right?
Yeah.
So, so it was my dad, Paul, that really, kind of turned me on to the spirit of rum. And I just enjoyed it over the years. And I've, drank many different versions, even in some countries, had some versions of rum that weren't allowed here, some Cuban rums that I had a chance of enjoying in Central and South America. I was down there in the 80s and the 90s. And I even had a homemade potato vodka. And I love vodka. You can make vodka from anything, right?
Right.
In Antarctica at a Ukrainian research base. And it was the best vodka I'd ever had. It was in a base in Antarctica, and these guys had made it. I guess they're stuck on the ice. What are they going to do, right?
Right. It's cold filtered.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, my dad was the one that introduced me to the spirit of rum. Thank God. Yeah.
That's very cool. And I think we were talking, last week or two about some stories, and like I had my father on, and as I think I've mentioned to you, he didn't share any rum stories, or maybe it's either that or 151 stories. But he's, and again, being Scottish, he's not a big Scotch drinker, but he seemed to always be at least in the rum, and obviously getting into this and sharing some of the stories. So yeah, that's great to have some of those things, the bond or the connection, and especially so sounds like an awesome.
It was the driving factor for me to really enjoy rum. And then when he passed away, I'm 58 in a couple of weeks. I've had a career in another business and was successful in that, and being in one business for 30 years, time to do something different. And so I wanted to do something that I would enjoy, something that gave me the chance to be innovative, creative. And so I chose rum, and I've put everything into it. And I'm so excited that I did. I've met some amazing people around the world, not only locally, but in all over the world. And all I could say is I wish I would have been in this business 30 years ago. I'd probably be retired by now.
Retired or in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, maybe both. Yeah, so I wanted to do something that, I guess, go out with a bang, right?
Right.
So that's another motivating factor why I went into rum. It was just something that I had a calling.
Yeah. No, I and like I said, I love the stories, guests that come on that, every rum guest who is an owner or has a rum company, whether they distill it or so whatever to that degree,
Right.
is just asking them how they got into starting their own rum company
Mhm.
or their ideas and their passion, their vision, etc. And yeah, just because you own a or a spirits company doesn't necessarily see that you're a millionaire. It takes time, but it is a very tough industry. But I think that whole craft spirits industry is particularly rum, and it's particularly here in Florida, is about ready to kind of really explode because of the recognizing of craft rum
Mhm.
and where
The blends, yeah.
right. And maybe where craft beer was 10 years ago,
Mhm.
craft spirits are getting ready to, and it's already happening. But
It is.
yeah, so now I'm really excited about the product, the brand, the story. Again, it's great to have something to kind of tie it all together. And
Yeah.
so you mentioned you have the offerings. So the formidable, the culverin, and is there two falconets?
Yeah, there's a Falconet clear bottle, which we call Flint, and then we have a painted black bottle. It's fully painted, all black, and it's also Falconet, and that was specifically designed and requested by a national retailer that wanted a black and a clear bottle.
Okay.
And so we're undecisive whether we're going to go full black with that bottle, completely black painted, or offer both black and clear. We'll see. We'll let the market tell us,
Right.
right? And so that's the Culver, that's the Falconet. That's the one that got the Daiquiri Platinum Medal and 92 points from Beverage Tasting Institute, and the Culverin got 89 silver. And I'm happy to say that the Falconet is a a Trinidad, Dominican Republic, Guyana, and Panama blend. And the only rums out of 59 rums, I think we were in fourth place, was Bacardi Reserva 8 and Appleton 21, I believe. And both those bottles are double, if not triple, our price on the shelf.
Oh wow.
So great rum. All the compromised additions to the rum is taken out, and you've got a good value. And so I think as much as a good rum, as much as we all like a good rum, some of us don't want to pay $100 for a bottle of rum. We want a good product for $50 or $40. And so that's what I wanted to do, deliver a really top end quality rum, good price, and you get your money worth. Listen, there's rums out there, they pack it with other ingredients, they give you a good product, but I really wanted to just completely do something different and wipe out the way people have done rums before and start over and give good rum, take all the added ingredients out, give a true spirit, true age, give a blend,
Right.
not a Solera. And so that's Bombarda. It's pure rum, and it's true age statements, and it's here to stay.
Right. And I've talked a lot about, there's this, obviously, those that don't know, they know rum, that it's
Mhm.
made from sugar, molasses,
Right.
and they think every rum is sweet, or even diabetics can't have it because
Right.
it's made from sugar. It's like, well, all spirits after a certain point are, processed, and there's no real sugar left. That's what creates the alcohol.
Right.
And it's until, like you said, until you start adding all these other things to it, that really creates that sugar or not, or natural distilled process. So
Yeah, you taste, it's, I tell people all the time, listen, take your favorite brands, two or three, take four shot glasses. I've done this with bartenders several times. and I mix it all up. I know which one is mine, and I know which three of these is not mine. And I've not yet, I think out of 10, 12 times, only one has picked another rum than ours. That's the difference in it. For aftertaste, for sweetness, for flavor. And so I constantly, am testing our product in many ways. I give a lot of free samples out, and I'll hand them out. I'll meet bartenders that are excited about it. Maybe they're not ready yet to put it on the menu. I'll give them a bottle. I'll call them in a week. Our sales guys will call them in a week, and the bottle's gone, and we love it, and we'll take a case. So sometimes, I even went into a bar and I said, listen, I love your bar. This is a beautiful bar. I love the name. I'm just going to give you a free case. Enjoy it. And the guy literally, about a month later said, man, we loved your rum. We made a bunch of drinks. We want to order another couple more cases. And sometimes distribution stands in the way because these guys like to buy from certain distributors.
Right.
And he didn't even care. He's like, listen, I know you're not with a big distributor. We're going to, buy 2 more cases. We appreciate you giving us the free product. Everybody loves it. I said, well, I love your bar. I want to be in your bar.
Right.
It's a perfect fit for the product. And so, sometimes you got to go out there, and if you believe in your product and it's a good product and people respond well, then that's another, win-win for everybody.
Right.
So
I think there's, and again, I know those that listen to the podcast hear me talk about this a lot, is there's the symbiotic relationship between, alcohol, bars, music. You gotta, and especially last year threw a lot of that off because of COVID and lockdowns, shutdowns.
Sure.
And if you don't have, if one of those three is out of whack for whatever reason, and you could have a great bar, great drinks, the right cocktails, and even into your point, it's some of the higher end, or especially craft, and it's not some of the bigger names that as most people only know about. It's great to get some of those out and say, hey, there's other things out there that taste a lot better.
Right.
And it's great to see the bartenders really, making an effort to make a craft cocktail and not just a, hey, I want a rum and Coke. And, so then that's.
Yeah, there's a lot of open-mindedness. I was reluctant to really go door to door restaurants and bars. And, I don't have a rum sales background. I have a sales background in another industry, but, I've hired a master salesman here in Miami, and I just went out there with him a couple days, and I found myself being like, wow, people are open, and, the bartenders and restaurant owners, they want to taste it. They want to try something new. And so it opened my eye to, I thought I was going to get resistance. You have a new product. You're like, oh, who are you?
Yeah,
We've been using the same runs for 20 years. But yeah, they were very, very open. And, it's interesting that, like you said, there's a lot of open-minded bartenders, shop owners, and they want something different for their menu.
Right.
And, and I think when they see our presentation, listen, we have Canon ice balls. Can't beat that. I got a guy that showed us how to use some fire techniques and some smoke cannonballs and fire with cannon bottles and carriages. I mean,
there you go.
You guys love it,
And you find there's a lot more people as creative and crazy as you are, right? So
I'm trying, man.
Yeah. All right, Jim. So you're ready for the hard-hitting questions now. So I know you listen to the podcast, and I had just posted up to at least the last podcast a recap of all of our shows in a segment we called In 4 Sips or Less. Mm-hmm. And again, these are for our rum guests, where we're asked 4 questions, and it's yes or no type questions, this or that. Don't overthink it. First thing that comes to mind. Okay.
Okay.
So I got
Yeah,
4
that's
questions
cool.
for you.
Yep.
All right. So in 4 sips or less, neat or on the rocks?
Neat.
Okay. So you had mentioned that you're into I guess rock, and like, so roughly what kind of rock period are you referred to? I'm just trying to get a gauge.
I would say late 80s, Eagles,
Okay.
Scorpions, Zeppelin.
Okay. All right. So here's the question. Aerosmith or Led Zeppelin?
Zepp.
Okay. All right.
I know what I like, man.
In 4 sips or less, of all of the continents you've visited, which one is the most memorable?
Africa.
And would it be safe to say that you have visited all 7 continents?
No, I haven't visited Asia.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I'm saving that one for last.
You're so close with Australia, right?
Yeah, I was on Australia. Loved Australia. Yeah.
Well, again, I at least now know somebody who's been to Antarctica. So
It's pretty cool. I did Africa and Antarctica within a 12-month span. I had just put it out there.
wow.
I said, what am I going to do that's cool in 12 months? I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the Serengeti and I'm going to go to Antarctica. And those are 2 extremes and I'm going to do it. And I did exactly that. Everybody thought I was crazy. And by the way, I was stuck on a ship during COVID in Antarctica and stranded in the Falkland Islands for 2 weeks on a boat with 420 passengers, of which 300 was Australian and New Zealand doctors.
Oh my God.
I didn't get into that. So I was stuck for 2 weeks in the Falkland Islands. So I loved Antarctica, but Africa, if nobody's been there, it takes your breath away every step, every day. It's where man, the cradle of mankind.
Right.
And it's just the vastness and the openness and the wildness and the pureness of Africa is just mind blowing. Really is.
It's obviously, a very large continent, and
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, there's so much, whether it's, and people forget that there's portions that are up in the Mediterranean that is Africa, right? That's
Right,
part of that.
right.
And all the way down to the other end, the tip, and
Correct.
everything in the middle is mostly what most people think of Africa is, jungles or
Savannah.
deserts, or right.
Savannas, desert,
Yeah.
jungle. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. In fact, it's interesting, Paul. The guy that designed the brand is from Mauritius, Africa. And he designed the artwork that we have. He's a very famous playing card designer. And so our neck label is similar to a cigar label. And so he was the guy that created Elephant Gin and a few other notable African brands. And I believe it or not, I have a colleague making a gin in the Masai Mara in Kenya, and he's got an actual distillery in his tent camp in the middle of the Masai Mara right now making gin. Talk about a crazy spirit, right?
Hey,
He's a crazy spirit.
Like I said, wherever you can make sure you can get it and make it, and yeah.
It's like it rains here every day. I got a tent, it dripped. I get the water from the Mara, and I'm making gin. I'm like, God bless you. His name's Peter.
You can't get anything better than that.
No, he's trying to go to market with it, and I'm waiting for my first bottle.
Very cool.
But once again, I'm meeting people all around the world, and I'm having such a great time with rum and the spirits industry. And for any of you guys out there that are thinking about making a leap into the business side of it, other than being a connoisseur of rums, it's a great leap. It really is. It's been a lot of fun, and so there's the answers to your
all right
4 questions, man.
All right. Well, now actually, I got one more. This is the 4th one coming up. So
Okay.
this is
Sorry.
talking about talking about a leap. Okay, so you're pretty much grew up in South Florida, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be probably a tough question. Will the Dolphins make the playoffs this year?
I know. I hate to be honest, dude.
Oh man, you're
Maybe I
gonna
should
make
have thought that one over. I don't want to be a traitor. I love you, Miami.
you're not gonna you're gonna make Hootie cry, right?
Yeah, I don't think they have it. Tampa Bay, well, listen, I wish Tampa Bay would make us the product for the Bucks. I mean, I'm trying to get them to take the cannon, right?
Oh, that definitely fits. That's right. Yeah, because they have the whole ship over there. Hey, Jim,
Yes.
I have an idea.
Tell me.
Okay. We got to go tailgate at a Bucks game for preseason. Or I don't care,
Absolutely.
even at a game. Let's go tailgate, bring some Bombarda rum.
I'm in,
and
man. I'll
go
bring
for
it.
it. Let's do
I'll
it.
bring all we can drink, dude. I'll bring like 2 cases.
There we go. There you go. You heard it first. Tailgate in over in Tampa.
Sounds good. That's a plan. That's a plan. You know, they have that festival with the Gasparilla Festival.
Yes.
You've been
Yep.
to that?
No, I haven't, but I know aware of it. Yeah.
Well, there's the kid version and the adult version. Pick one.
Yeah, well, as long as there's no cell phones allowed in the adult one.
Yeah, there is. They are allowed.
Yeah, that's like Fantasy Fest, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But
No.
yeah, so that's a date, man. You got it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's. I've. No, the whole podcast idea that started up for me was not to be really doing these Zoom meetings and talking to people through a computer. It was supposed to be meeting them at a distillery or at a bar or some place that has ambience and to kind of talk about a product or a music thing or whatnot. And COVID, but I'm in that same boat. I could have gave up early on in this last year and just said, life has got too much going on for me, and just kind of just put it on the shelf. But I kind of keep pushing through, and but I'd rather, again, we will definitely meet up. I know we're not that far away, so we'll make some plans here. So
I have an idea. Are you open?
Well. Am we allowed to talk about it on the or do we have to cut it out?
Do this. I'm gonna get the oxidized cannon bottle, and maybe we do a this is gonna be called La Capitana, by the way.
Okay.
Why don't we shoot for a podcast follow-up somewhere at the Gasparilla Festival?
I'm open to that.
If they let us, because I know there's another brand that's taken over that whole festival. I can't say their name. But
Is it a big we can only guess.
Yeah, it's begins with the letter after A. But need that, but that could be a good goal, right?
Yeah.
Pirate
Hey,
festival with some pirate bottles.
Hey, if it's a pirate festival, what is any more pirate than bombarding the festival?
Exactly. Like I say, I got 22,000 cannons shooting at one retail store right now. Come and get it. As the flag says, you ever seen the Alamo flag? Come and take it.
Yep, that's right.
That's it. Come and take it.
So all right. So we've talked a little bit about, so where can we find Bombarda? Where can we buy it? Where is it? Tell us where folks that are listening to the podcast here, where can we go get our hands on it? Unless you give out your address and they come to your house.
Yeah, I can do that, but next time.
Okay.
BombardaRum.com. Also shop BombardaRum.com. We deliver nationwide via that site. There's a $2 and $3 bottle special with the carriage special. We have a coup de grace special, 2 bottles in a carriage. I think that's $100. which is a great deal, by the way. And if you put in the word brothers, only for Paul's podcast, if you type in the word brothers at checkout, you get $5 off. So it's a great deal. It'll come to your house secure. And so shop bombardarum.com or bombardarum.com is where you can get it. Also, there's a tab, Find Bombarda Rum. There's 70 plus locations, bars, restaurants, and retail liquor stores. Like I said, mainly Miami, Tampa, St. Pete. There's a few in Palm Beach. And of course, our favorite bar is down in Key West. Can't forget them. So that's how you get the product.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of options there. If you live here in South Florida, let alone not just South Florida, but obviously online. And that's great to get some of this in. Again, a lot of folks don't realize how hard it is to get a particular rum made in one part of this country to another location. And yeah, that's great that some of these things are opening up and to be able
try to get a glass manufacturing company in Czech Republic to follow directions. That's even harder. Thank God I speak Czechoslovakian, right?
Yeah, right. I guess.
No, I don't. But I know how to speak Italian and
well,
talk loud.
Maybe that might have been the problem.
It could be, man. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure if you drink enough rum, I'm sure you think you're talking Czechoslovakian.
That's true. I think if I drink tequila, I'm talking Czechoslovakian quicker, though.
Oh.
No, but that's how you guys get the rum, I'm totally excited to be on the podcast with you, Paul. I've listened to some of your other podcasts, and I think you're doing a great thing. And
right.
I'm sure your patrons and your viewers appreciate what you're doing, and I'm glad that we had a chance to meet. And I'm looking forward for following up and doing some more podcasts, and maybe a live one at a cool festival or a cool bar. Like I was saying, we were going to meet over at the Globe here in Coral Gables, which is a cool bar too. So yeah, I'm open, man.
Love I'm always down for a good time. That's why I have a lawyer and retainer. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I need one with all this stuff I'm trying to pull off.
There you go. So Jim, now that we've made it through the podcast and you're now an official alum, so we've got one of these, all of our guests here. We've got our shirt there. There's our logo on the front. There's our tagline, where the backbeats meets the spirits.
I love it, man.
So I'll be getting this out to the mail to you. And yeah, for sure. It's now part of the alumni here. And again, anything you wanted to come back on, like I said, a follow-up podcast, any remote. Again, I've some very interesting guests, again, from reviewers to musicians, touring musicians. It's just been a great journey for me to kind of meet people, talk drums or rums, and to help push folks' brands, to help it get it out there, get the word out there too. So,
well, I think you need a trophy for that desk. I see 2 empty glasses of rum. No, there's a little rum in there, right, Paul?
There was an ice ball.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right. It was. Oh, hold on. This one was neat.
There you go, man. Now, here's the thing. That should have been my rum. And so now I'm going to send you a bottle, and I'm going to send you a carriage so you can have a trophy on your desk.
Oh, wow. I can't wait. I don't know what to say. I will definitely.
Bombarda rum that you can enjoy, and you can actually, if you have a guest you don't really like, maybe you could just point the bottle at them, Time to get off.
That's right. Boo.
There you go. No, I'm gonna put that in the mail to you, man. You got my word on that, dude.
Oh, I totally appreciate it. So yeah, we'll have to exchange. Like I said, I have to mail you this shirt, even though I know it's, like I said, I probably could drop it off, but I like to try to stay up on getting those shirts out to the guests.
You're in West Palm. I'm up, if I'm up in Boca sometimes in Del Rey visiting my daughters.
Yeah. Okay. We'll
or we can send it by mail, whatever you want to do. We gotta get together. So
yeah, like I said, I know it's not like that. We're that far,
we're close.
You're just in the other county.
2 counties down.
Oh, you're down the Dade.
Yeah, down.
Okay.
Down in South Miami.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm trying to get close to the Keys, but haven't made it there yet.
Well, I always think of Florida City or Homestead like the edge of the earth.
Yeah, I'm about 10 miles north of that, dude.
Oh wow. I've been to a couple of races over the years, and I always hated the fact on the Sunday night after the cup race is everyone's heading back north on the turnpike, US 1 95, whatever. And I'm like, I think it was 2019, and it was when the race was still in November, and I was thinking, why? I said, next year in 2020, the race is going to be like March. It leads right into spring break for the kids. I'm like, next year we're going to go to the race, and instead of going north, we're going to go south and just going to do vacation. And well, then COVID happened, and then so well, very cool. So I'm glad we've got a chance to chat, talk about Bombarda Rum, the story, the journey, the passion, everything that got you to into this endeavor. And I'm again, hold on, I out of respect, Jim, I'm gonna have to pour something here in the cheers, but I won't show.
Have a toast. I don't even have any rum with me right now. It's all in the bottles,
Well, cheers, Jim.
Cheers, man.
Yes, to success. And again, what is your that tagline there? They said
Victoria's Folia.
There you go.
Spoils, baby.
All right.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. All right. We'll definitely be in touch, and go check out Bombarda Rum. Shop Bombarda Rum. Their Instagram, their Facebook. We'll include all that on the show notes there too as well. So salute.
Let's run the guns, they say.
I like that. Yes.
All right, guys.
All right.
Pleasure. Good night, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Have a great night.
Thanks a lot.
I'd like to thank Captain Jim for coming on the podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Bombarda Rum, check out bombardarum.com or shopbombardarum.com. And check them out on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Bombarda Rum CO. Thanks for joining us on this podcast. I'm Paul, and this is where the backbeats meets the spirits. Cheers.